Right, people are joining, so I guess we can make a start. Hello, good morning, everyone, and welcome to the .NET Morning Coffee powered by Pro.NET Community. Today we are going to talk about Microsoft Teams bots. We've talked about that in the past. However, now we are living in the AI era, and can we really achieve even more with the Teams bots today? So this question will be answered by Arthur, who did a deep dive into the Teams Microsoft Teams bots direction, and I think he has some really awesome outcomes to demonstrate to us. Arthur, please welcome.
Okay, thank you. I hope I will demonstrate some interesting for you guys. Let's start. My name is Artur and I'm lead software engineer at EPAM, and today I'm going to talk about Teams bots, and in particular we are going to talk what is bot, what types of bots we have, what is common flow for bot, and what testing opportunities we have for testing it locally or in Azure as well. And of course, at the end, I'm going to show some demos for testing purpose, and also I'm going to show one demo related to your personal knowledge assistant bot that will be hosted on Azure and will be used in real teams, not for local testing, but in real. Okay, but what is bot? Bot is software applications that enable us to add some text-based capability with interaction to user, but it's not only text-based capability, you also able to add some comments, stuff, and actions, UI cards, and etc. It's not only like, common AI bot with text-based approach. And what pros we have in the bot capability. First of all, it's automation. You're able to create some routine stuff and delegate it to the bot, and your end user will be able to interact by commands to do some routine stuff. Availability, of course, since it's program, you don't need to hire the person to answer some questions to users. The bot is able to do it, and its program it's available 24 hours per day. Efficiency. The bot is able to manage the task simultaneously from different user at the same time. Some advantage in the user experience because you're able to receive the response immediately, and you're able to receive response in some pretty good UI. And I believe in this case, the customer will have some satisfaction with the bot. And scalability. To be honest, the bot is just web UI application. You just need to host this web UI application, and it will be available through bot service. As a result, you are able to scale your application, and it will be able to handle some workload without any problems. What types of bot we have? We have notification, workflow, commands, and I name it like conversation bot. We can say it's like AI bots that enable to answer in human behavior, the similar human behavior flow. And today we are going to talk about commands bot, conversation bot. I omit some bots like notification and workflow because from my point of view, it's not interesting for me, like because it just sent a notification that something happened, and we won't see some interesting stuff. And here's some common bot flow. As I said, it's pretty easy because we have your web API application, and you are able to connect to your web application any stuff that you want. for instance, database, any LLM providers like OpenAI, but it can be cloud, it can be Azure OpenAI service, or Google, for instance, and any other stuff that you want. And what you need, we need some Azure bot service that will be able to establish the communication between the user and your web AI application. And we need, today we will talk about Teams from the Teams perspective, but you are able to connect Slack, Facebook, and etc. Other channels. It's like a common flow, and you don't need to. As you can see, it's not so complicated. You just need to deploy your existing web API and create some Azure stuff. And what I'd like to highlight here, because in the URL list we have the link to some documentation related to bot framework, and I would like to highlight here any interaction between user and your application, your bot, represents activity. We need to think about it like activity. You can think like event-driven approach. When something happened, we send an event that, for instance, user was added to the chat. Or when you send a message, you just send an activity, okay, message activity, and you don't need to wait until your bot answered in the same request, HTTP request. And when you send something, the bot starts some handling process inside your application and return and send back the request to the bot framework service. And only after that you will see the message or adaptive card, for instance, and that's all. It's why I like to highlight that it's not synchronized approach that when you send, you're waiting until you receive the response. Okay, sorry. And what we have the testing opportunities. Again, in particular for .NET, we have some bot framework emulator. We are able to do it via Teams app test tool, and we are able to do it, I would say, in hybrid approach when you have developer program and you're able to create bot Azure service remotely and add some dev tunnels approach when you proxy your request to your local machine. And after that, you are able to test your application in, I would say it's like a production similarity, production similarity, because we had bot Azure service that is deployed to Azure, and you have your application locally. And of course, the most interesting part is demo, because you are able to read about the bot stuff in documentation. We have a lot of documentation related to it, and if you like to add some other capabilities to the bot, it would be better to read documentation. Here, I would like to show from which components the bots are consist and what should you pay attention during the development of the bot. Okay, let's start with the first bot. And of course, the first bot, it will be so pretty simple bot when we are going to respond the user text back. And let's take a look from which components the bot consists. And here, two major components. It's bot framework HTTP adapter and bot themselves. What is bot framework HTTP adapter? It's adapter that enable us to establish communication between bot Azure service and your web API. It contains some logic with handling the inbound request and transform it to the activity and move this activity forward to the next middleware. And after that, at the end of the request pipeline, you will receive the message inside of the bot. And also, bot framework is responsible for authenticate the request because was it from the correct channel, was it from the correct user, and etc. And we have a bot, and let's take a look what bot contains. As I said, we think when we talk about the communication between user and bot, we think about the activity. And here we have an on-message activity. And we are going to override this activity to add something new in the bot pipeline. And what we made, we just return the phrase that was received from the user. And I'm going to show you how you can test it. Since, as I said, it's just a web API, we have a controller with only one method for process the inbound message.
Artur, may I ask you to zoom in a little bit, just a little bit? I know that everyone can do that using Teams capabilities, but yeah, that's good.
Is it better? Yeah.
Much better. Yeah, thanks.
Okay, let's start. Sorry. Okay. And the first tool that I would like to show you, it's a bot framework emulator, where you are able to test your bot. And let's start with it and open bot. And here, what you need to type. First of all, you need to type the host URL and add API messages endpoint to the end of your host URL where the bot is hosted, and add a connect. Okay, and let's try. Hi. As you can see, we received from the bot, you said hi. And also you're able to analyze inside of this bot emulator what you received, was it activity, etc. Like strange, yeah, you said strange. What I'd like to say here, as you can see, to create a bot, you don't need to have a lot of stuff. It's just web API. You have two major components inside of bot. It's bot themselves and HTTP adapter, and that's all. And it's pretty simple, yes, to create a bot with some capability to respond to user to their questions. But it's not one capability that bot can do. The bot is able to handle some routine task. You're able to add command capability to the bot. And here I'm going to show you another bot. What we have here. Again, we have the same pretty stuff where we just register two items. It's bot themselves and HTTP adapter. But also, since we are going to use some commands, we add as a command capability. Like we have two commands, help command handler and get card command. If you take a look inside of these commands, what you need to do. The first one, you need to implement the interface iTeams command handler. It contains some fields like trigger patterns where you're able to identify based on which word you will respond to the user some message, in my case, or other stuff. And here we have regex trigger, so you can type any regex pattern here to handle user message to response. And we implement handle command method. And here we just going to highlight, okay, if the user type help in the chat, we will return the message with available commands. And also we have another command related to return some UI snippet that can improve your user experience in the bot. What we have here. Again, we have a pattern based on which we are going to respond. In our case, when the user type get card, we will respond the UI snippet. It's a adaptive card, and again, if we go to the URL list, we will see some adaptive card link. And it would be better to explore the schema from my point of view, because in this case, you're able to understand what you can add to the card, like some text blocks, image, media. You are able to add some actions, and when your user click some button inside of the adaptive card, you will able to handle this activity as well. So to understand what's possible, and it will be better to see documentation, and it contains a lot of samples. As you can see, how it will look in Teams when you generate, when you create adaptive card. And adaptive card syntaxis, it's just a JSON. As you can see, JSON, and you just need to write some elements in JSON that your card will contain. Okay, let's move back to the bot. And here we have inside of simple command bot, we have adaptive cards folder where adaptive card exists, and more interesting stuff that you don't need to write your JSON to some other sites to understand was it valid or not, because some capabilities was added to Visual Studio. So in this case, you're able to see your card in preview mode. So you don't need to move between sites. You don't need to move from Visual Studio. So you're able to see what will be displayed to the user in Visual Studio. Is good because 2 years ago it wasn't implemented, and when I tried some bots, I just tried it with experiments. Okay, and as you can see, we receive some card with two buttons, so and the user will be able to click them. Okay, let's run this bot to see. Again, I'm going to use bot framework emulator to run to test it. Oh, one more. Inside of simple commands bot, we override another activity like members added. As soon as a new member added to the chat, you will be able to add some greeting, like welcome to the command bot. Again, it can improve user experience, and the user will be able to understand what the bot can and what's the purpose of the bot. And we can see here, as soon as I load a new chat, we receive a message. Welcome to the command bot. I can help you with a few simple commands. Type help to get started. Okay, let's type it. And receive available commands. You can type help to list available commands, or you can type get card to show adaptive card. And as you can see, we receive adaptive card, and the user is able to click, for instance, Teams Toolkit docs, and it will be redirected to the link. Okay. But also we are able to, as you can see, again, I just created a ASP.NET Core Web API application, but you're able to create a Teams bot from template. What you should do to receive some templates on your machine? First of all, we have Visual Studio Installer, where you need to modify your Visual Studio. Okay, and under the ASP.NET and web development, let's open it. You can see Microsoft Teams development tool, this one, and you need to check it. And after that, you need to install necessary, and after that, necessary stuff will be installed, and you will be able to create a new bot from template, and you don't need to think how to create it. Let me show you what you will see after that. Here we have let's create a new project from the template. So since I've already installed necessary package related to Teams, I can type Teams, and in new type, a new project is available to me. So let's create. And here we have a list of list of templates that are available for you. For instance, you're able to create an AI chatbot or AI agent, some chat code bot, etc. So, for instance, let's create chat command bot. So, as you can see, a new bot was created with commands capability, but it's why I don't like two templates. It contains a lot of stuff that it's not clear at first time, because, for instance, we have some conversation bot, but if you go through the whole application, you're not able to understand where we use this one conversation bot. We created, we added to dependency injection, but it's not clear where it was used. Only one place where it used this one, but in strange behavior. We receive conversation bot, choose the adapter, and process the message. But as you can see inside of this conversation bot, we added some comments, and you are not, from my point of view, you don't understand what's going on with it, how it was handled. Yeah, it's why maybe to deep understanding how it's going on and how your commands were processed, it would be better to start with just web API application and add some capability with yourself without any blueprint. Yeah, because if you take a look inside of program, yeah, that was created by me, like just web API application, we can see that to handle any commands inside of your bot, you need to add these commands inside of a new middleware, because we have some request pipeline inside of your bot, and to create some common capabilities, you need to inject these commands inside of middleware. And as soon as we receive a request from the user, HTTP adapter starts preparing some activities, and after that move forward to the next middleware that is registered in the middleware pipeline. You need to just understand it, because as I said, in template we cannot understand what's going on with this, like here. Because in real, if you take deep, go to inside of this class, yeah, you will see some registrations, but again, what's going on with it? But if you go to deeper, we will see that some middlewares were created. It's why, from my point of view, it's complicated stuff. Maybe it would be better to create some builder with adding some capabilities via middlewares. And in this case, it will be more straightforward. But the team's command made decision to use this approach. Okay. Move next. Now I'm going to show you more rich card, adaptive card, and it's to do application, to do items application, that you're able to add any to do items in your list. And moreover, if you take a look on some commands inside of this application, we have an interaction with database. So as I said, since it's like a web application, you're able to add any capability in your bot. Storing some data in database, connect to other services, etc. Let's start. And here I'm going to run it via another tool. It's Teams ToolUp. Okay. Let's start it.
So while you are running the project, can you please describe how difficult it would be to adapt the particular bot capability to another messenger, let's say to Telegram or any other?
Okay, good question. But I believe it's not so complicated, because if you take a look on the short link, it's a GitHub repository, we will see that some of the adapters was provided by community, for instance, Slack. And as you can see, Telegram
is also here, yeah.
Yeah, is also supported by Azure Bot. So in this case, you're able to use cloud adapter that was provided by Bot Framework SDK, and it should work. So you're able to see what exists, yeah, in your application, or what you are able to receive, for instance, from the community stuff. Okay. Rerun it. Again, we have some greeting message. Welcome to the to-do command bot. I can help you with the to-do items list, and what I need to do is just type to-do command. So we receive some adaptive card, and it's like UI for the user. Instead of typing any comments in the chat to add some to the items, etc., you're able to do it via Adaptive Card. Let's click New, and here we would like to learn JavaScript, for instance. Okay, new record was added. As I said, the records are stored in the database. Learn Python. Learn how to add AI. Add AI capability. Okay, what you can do more? I was added some secondary buttons to the Adaptive Card, and when you click, you're able to adapt or update or remove the existing item. Okay, let's update JavaScript instead of JS. Script. So update. As you can see, a record was updated, and it was updated in database as well. I added some of this stuff, but you know what I can say when I was working on this to-do items list bot, I noticed that it's not so straightforward to add some update capability inside of Adaptive Card, but it's possible. But in this case, I made some, I would say, some tricks to apply it, but it's possible. I believe you are able to enrich your user experience with Adaptive Card. So instead of typing any comments, you have UI for it. Okay. Okay. And I believe regarding the common bots, it's enough. But we live in the era of AI, I would say, and I believe we would like to add some AI capability inside of your bot. And here I'm going to show you how we can add it. Let's go to Simple AI bot, and again, what I'm going to show you. First of all, we are going to use Ollama. It's a tool that enables us to host some models locally, LLM models locally, and you don't need to pay to it. You just need to enough hardware, I would say. But
do you need a GPU for that, or
no?
It can be
as I yes, what I like to say is that I'm going to do it in the laptop without any.
That's super
issue.
cool. Yeah.
Yes. And what I'm going to use, I'm going to use the recent model from DeepSeek R1. And as you can see, it's so small model with 1 and 5 billion parameters. But it's enough for you to test something. But if you have GPU, you're able to use more huge models than this one that I used for my laptop. And let's take a look what we have. Again, we have only 2 components inside of our application. It's adapter and it's bot themselves. But for Ollama, we just have Ollama chat client. And what we have here, again, we override the activity related to greeting. When the user was added, we would like to say what the bot can do. And also we override on message activity. As soon as we receive the message from the user, we are going to start the conversation with LLM, and that's all. So it's pretty easy to add. I would say you don't need to go to here. You can put any providers, OpenAI, Google, Azure OpenAI services, etc. And you don't need to go to their sites itself. You're able to use any models inside of the teams. Let's start. Okay, I'm going to use bot framework emulator for testing. Okay. Welcome to the Simple AI bot. I can help you with any question. What would you like to know? How to print hello world on console in Python. Since the model is hosted locally and it's laptop, I don't have any GPU. It can take 15 or 20 seconds to respond to it. Let's wait.
It shows that like send this failed, retry.
Oh, let me check what's going on.
Maybe your model is down at the moment.
It shouldn't.
Okay.
It shouldn't, yeah, because I see, but let me restart the Llama. No, I tested before, yeah, but again, during the demo, we have some issues. But maybe you have some questions, guys.
Yes, so there is one question and one suggestion that you need to disable your internet, but yeah, it's more a joke, of course, because if you shut down your internet, we will not be able to see what you are showing to us. Okay, so Alexei is asking, what is the authentication authorization mechanism? Is the web API protected somehow? That's the question to the way how you are hosting your Teams bot. You told several times that it's just a web API. So can anyone access your web API? Like, can I just start sending some messages to your bot right now, or it is somehow protected and all the requests are signed by maybe Microsoft Teams authentication?
Good question. Yeah, for simplicity, I didn't add any authentication process inside of in particular for those bots. Yes, that I'm going to use. I'm going to test locally, but you're able to do any authentication process. First of all, as I said, we have adapter that is responsible for checking authentication process. So as soon as we receive a response from the user, the first door, yeah, in your application, it's adapter. It's going to process your entire request. So inside of this process, we have authentication authorization process. And if you don't have enough credentials to send this activity, you won't be able to receive the response from the bot. And I will show you with the last bot that I have that I will deploy to Azure. Is it okay?
So let's say if we use some authentication authorization, and then we can probably somehow access the information about the calling user, right? About
yes,
maybe some of his claims.
It's part of the, if you go to the bot, yeah, for instance, Simple AI bot, we have its own context. Yeah, it's an object that contains the information related to your activity, yeah, and what the text, it contains who sends this activity and other stuff. So what's the responsibility again? The adapter, it receive HTTP request and transform it to the turn context object. and move this turn context object forward to other middlewares and your bot. But before it has some authentication process inside of it. Let's try again. How to print.
Let's try this time C# because maybe that failed because of the Python. Your bot doesn't know anything about Python. Maybe it's
console.
The bot's specialized in C#.
Okay, it's sending.
Oh, there is another question.
I know. I know the reason. Oh, yeah, because I have VPN is enabled, and it's too difficult to communicate with.
Down your VPN and try more.
But you know, I'm going to show you another bot, related to AI capabilities, so we can.
Let's move on to the next demo.
Skip this bot. What's the reason? Because the VPN is enabled and networking between WSL is not established correctly. It's why we are not able to receive from Ollama some responses. That's why we have this one. But for the next bot, we are going to use OpenAI. And in this case, you don't need to care about some local stuff. But it's only because I have some VPN is enabled. Okay. And the last one, yes.
I mean, there isn't one more question. So once you're ready to answer, I can read it.
Mm-hmm. Go ahead.
Okay. So Ruslan is asking that he's asking about the hosting of the bots.
Mm-hmm.
Are they hosted on the platform themselves and send the API requests for processing? Therefore, can we use serverless solutions for processing the API requests?
Yes.
Okay,
you're
so
able
we can
to host to any. You're able to host to Lambda functions, Azure functions, and to EC2 instance, to any places. What you need to have your host URL plus API messages endpoint, and that's all. So you can use serverless plus API gateway, for instance, in AWS, and it will work. Okay, what I'm going to show here, it's AI capability for the bot, and we are going to use it. I use the template that was provided by Teams, and I added some. It's the same application like to-do items, but here we have tools calling for the LLM, and based on the user message, the tool is able to understand what action we should call to perform the action based on the user request. And if you take a look in the prompts folder, we can see, first of all, we have as a prompt that it's a system prompt for the LLM. And it's pretty simple that it's your AI assistant, what you can do, chat with the user or manage to do items for the user. And here's some interesting, we are going to predefine some output. In which format we are going to display our to-do items. And it should be a table with next columns. And also we describe what tools are available for us. First of all, we are able to receive all available items from the list. We are able to insert, update, and remove items. As I said, it's a similar application that we made by adaptive cards, but here we add some AI capability. So when the user just type add this item or removes another one, we delegate this work to LLM, and LLM will make decision which tool we should call to perform the action. Okay, let's start. Okay. Do I have any items in the list?
Oh, it also shows these 3 dots that it is typing.
Yes, because it's template and it supports streaming process. So in this case, we are able to see like, okay, the bot is trying to answer you, just waiting a few seconds to receive the response. And as you can see, we don't have any items in the list. Okay, add again, learn.js. Okay, learn.js was added. As you can see, we receive the response in the format that we specified in the system prompt. And also we are able to add Python and learn Python again, yes, and learn how to deploy it to Azure, for instance. Again, we delegate all work to identify what action we should call to certify the user request to LLM. Because we apply tools calling functionality, and for tools calling, we've already discussed it. We had so kind of event, and here we use this mechanism. So again, we are able to change. Please change the first one to learn JavaScript. So
that's cool. You typed first, yeah, and
yes,
the bot was able to recognize that you meant under first you meant ID equal to 1. That's cool.
yes.
So
yes.
there is one, not a question but suggestion. Let's try to add a duplicate. Let's try to add the same item. Will it automatically detect the duplicate or not? Probably it will not, but let's see.
It shouldn't.
Okay.
It should just add a new one item at the end of the list. Yes.
Now you have to learn Python twice.
Yes. And again, in this case, remove the last one.
Can you combine these AI capabilities with the adaptive cards?
Yes, yes. You're able to add the capability with returning adaptive cards, for instance, some text messages. It's up to you, but it's possible. It will use the same tools calling approach to like, okay, we are going to handle some comment, or we are able to handle some actions and return in appropriate format, for instance, in adaptive card. And instead of writing some like prompt, please return in this format, like in the table with next columns, you are able to create a comment in your comment with returning in adaptive card. You're able to do it.
That's cool. So a few more suggestions to try, what we can try. So there is a question that we can try to type, like remove duplicates. Will it be able to recognize the duplicates and remove them?
Perfect question. Okay, let's try. But you know, we add some we add some tools calling, yes, and perhaps it won't be able to recognize some learn again some duplicates, because we add some capabilities that it's able to do only stuff that we describe it in the actions.
Yeah, right. So it's AI, but it is hardly controlled by what you allowed this AI to do.
Yes, because we just
I think you didn't emphasize that, but all those to-do items are stored in the database behind the scene, and each time when you are reading a new item, okay.
Guys, it looks like Learn Python is already in your to-do list. Here current, so you know.
Okay, so this time it recognized.
It recognized that it's.
That's very cool.
Yeah.
Nice.
But it's not deterministic, yeah. But you're able to, again, you're able to add this. You're able to just type in the system prompt like, okay, if I have some duplicates. don't add it, yeah, and
that
will
was
work
another.
as well.
That was another comment that you potentially could handle duplicate situation with the prompt. Yes,
yes.
Just emphasized that as well.
Okay.
That's cool.
Yeah, and
we discovered some capabilities that you didn't even expect.
Yeah, yes. And the last one that I'd like to show, I created a bot. It's personal assistant bot that enable you to receive any information from the knowledge base that you enrich by yourself to the bot. For instance, you have some documents and you would like to receive some information, short information regarding it. You can just share the file with the LLM and ask any question regarding it. If you have any information about it, in this case, the LLM will return the response with appropriate answer. But if it doesn't contain, it will return info not found. So in this case, I believe it's so useful for you as a user. If you'd like to learn something, you have a lot of materials. You're able to store these in your knowledge base and receive any responses regarding it from LLM. It will be generated by LLM to you.
And you are using here .NET Aspire.
Yes, because I like it.
Okay.
Yeah. Why I like .NET Aspire? I don't need to care about how to deploy my application. I am able to just type two commands, azd init and azd up, and all containers will be deployed to Azure for you. And I don't need to care about it. Let's take a look what it contains. Again, it's pretty simple, minimal web API application. We have only one endpoint to handle our messages. And we have, again, the same stuff, Knowledge Assistant AI bot and HTTP adapter. And here we have some authentication process, as I said. As you can see, as soon as we add some configuration, it tries to receive some values for corresponding items in the configuration to create authentication process. Without it, your application won't be able to communicate with the Azure bot service. Okay. And what we have inside of the logic of the bot. I'm going to use kernel memory. It's interesting project from the Microsoft. It's a RAG framework. And you don't need to care about how to create retrieval augmented generation solution for yourself. You just delegate this work to this framework, and you will receive the responses from the RAG solution without typing any code related to RAG. it's pretty good, because we had the event related to retrieval augmented generation process, and I would say you need to write a lot of stuff to achieve it. But here we just delegate this work to framework, kernel memory framework, and it will handle any files by itself and will return the answer to your questions. Okay, and as you can see, pretty simple. We just receive some, try to receive some files from attachments and import this file to kernel memory. And kernel memory will divide it by chunks and store in the vector database. And as soon as you ask any questions, it will return from the vector database some similarity and generate answers based on this similarity. But it's under the hood, you don't need to care about it. And inside of the app host, as I said, since we use kernel memory, we are going to add this container with some configuration. What I'm going to use? I'm going to use OpenAI type of generation, but it's not OpenAI in real. We are going to use another capability for testing your AI solution for free. It's GitHub Models. GitHub Models provide you some stuff to test your AI solution again for free. Yeah, and as you can see, we are going to use OpenAI models, and we don't need to have some subscription to OpenAI. We just need to generate a key on GitHub for GitHub, and that's all. I believe it's cool where you are able to test your thoughts related to AI without pay. It's good. And we add some authentication attributes inside of your Knowledge Assistant bot. First of all, we need to add Microsoft App ID and Microsoft App Password. And based on this, we will be able to authenticate was it secure, the request or not. Okay. Okay, here's my Teams. It's not work Teams, it's my Teams, and now I'm going to add this bot to these Teams. And also what I'd like to highlight, I wouldn't like to describe how to create this in Azure, because we have one of interesting, I believe, useful article where it has been already described. What we need to do? First of all, we need to create Microsoft Entra ID app in the Azure. I'm going to deploy it to Azure. The first step. Next, we will need to receive application client ID. It's Microsoft App ID parameter in the configuration. The second one, we need to generate a password for the authentication process. And we go to inside of your Microsoft Entra ID app registration, you will be able to find certificates and secrets section, and inside it, you need to create a new one. As soon as you click new client secret, you will see some pop-up message with what name of this secret, and after that, you will receive the value of the password. After that, we have some steps how add it to the bot and so on. As soon as it was created, you need to create an Azure bot service. You're able to do it via Azure portal. But again, I wouldn't like to describe it myself because you're able to read it in any sources, but one of them is this link. Okay. Okay. To add your application to the Teams, first of all, we need to go to the apps section and click manage your apps. I'm going to upload my bot. Upload a custom application. I've already prepared the manifest for it and I'm going to use it. Okay, we have some information regarding this bot and I'm going to add it. So a bot was added to the Teams and we've already received the greeting message. And here it's a personal knowledge assistant. I can help you with any questions from a knowledge base. To load any data in the knowledge base, just share any files with me. But let's try to type something. What is carbon?
Here we don't have 3 dots, right?
Yeah, because as I said, I created this stuff on myself. It's just web API. And let me, yes, web API. So I didn't add any streaming process to my bot, but you're able to do it without any problem. Just for simplicity, yeah, just for any without any complexity. I just want to show that you need to write so little code, lines of code to create any bot. Okay, as you can see, is info not found because we don't have any information regarding the carbon inside of our knowledge base. Okay, let's edit. I'm going to upload this one. So
are you going to upload the PDF or it's text file?
In my case, it's 60, okay. But you're able to add capability to any files. Yeah.
Okay.
As you can see, we received the message that the file was uploaded. Okay, let's try again. What is carbon? And as you can see, we received this information. Before we saw the inf not found. Yes.
We can potentially connect our KeyBee website hosting all the useful information for the project, all the specifics for the project, and
yes.
Then use the bot capabilities to get some information about documented things on the project, right?
Yes, of course. And what I try to show here, it's like your personal knowledge assistant. Yeah, it's like you don't need to rely on other stuff. You're able to enrich your knowledge base with documents that it's important for you. And after that, you're able to search information from these documents in text-based conversation with the bot. It's
and if you want, you can also add this adaptive cards capabilities and build a really rich application that is not a classic application with button text entries and etc., but it is more like a conversational application.
Yes.
And where it is needed, you can also add some buttons.
So in this case, yeah. And what is Moon, for instance? Yes, and since we don't have any information inside of knowledge base regarding the Moon, we are not able to receive any information. But as soon as we upload a new file with Moon information area related to Moon, you will be able to see some information about it. And I believe it will be useful for you, for your project. Yeah, to.
That's a very good starting point, I would say.
Yes, I believe so. So thank you, guys. And
will you share the links to all those samples that you demonstrated?
Oh, of course, because it's in the first two links inside of the your list. Yeah.
It's already shared then.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you, Artur. Thanks so much. That was awesome demonstration of how to build custom Teams bots and what we can achieve if we add some AI capabilities. Okay, I think we can wrap up. Thanks everyone who joined. So the recording will be available soon. And for now, I wish you good luck and a great rest of the day and a lovely weekend. Bye.